Hi, I'm Dennis Cappel of Dennis Cappel Horsemanship. This is One Brilliant Desire here. He's a 5-year-old stallion by one-time Pepto and out of Play Young Desire. And we're just going to talk to you today about, various things and who knows what we might get into today. But I'm going to start out, with what do you do when you arrive at a new place? I've just showed up here today with this horse. He's in a strange environment for him. So you can tell he's kind of looking around, and this is very common. And before I get started with him, I think it's important that you realize that there's a philosophy that I will not vary from, and that philosophy is this. I always have a clear mental picture of what I want my horse to look like, act like, and do, and that picture gives me my timing. It tells me when to do what. And there are a lot of things, or you'll see a lot of people that know what to do, but I think the most important thing is to know why you're doing what you're doing. And when you look at it, when you arrive at a strange place and you look at it from the horse's perspective, I think it's a little bit like us finding ourselves in a waiting room, getting ready to get some dental work done, or or perhaps we're in a lawyer's office or something. We're someplace we don't want to be, and we're someplace that we're out of our comfort zone. And I think that I'm just going from myself. I'm very comforted whenever I see somebody I'm familiar with, somebody that I've got a relationship with prior to being in that spot. And that's what I feel like that we are to our horses. When we show up in a strange place, we need to be the leader and charge, and we need to be the one that is emotionally neutral. And a lot of times you're going to show up and your horse is going to be excited. And I know for myself, whenever I go to a strange place, my horse has never been there before, if I can, I like to just go out in the middle of the arena and stand there and just kind of let that horse have a minute to breathe out here. And while the horse is breathing, I'm going to let this horse hear me breathing as well. And that might sound a little bit odd, but when horses are in a group together and they're grazing, everything is fine. And then maybe a coyote will show up, or some kind of a predator will show up. The lead horse will pick its head up and it stops breathing. And that signals to the rest of the horses there that, look, get ready, it's time to run. So if you're out there and if you catch yourself holding your breath because you're a little uneasy being there as well, you're telling your horse that, hey, something's bad's going to happen here, get ready to run. So I want to come out here and be just as relaxed as I can, and I think that just touching your horse and just kind of smoothing that hair down, I particularly don't think that horses like to get a Dutch rub. A lot of times when people are nervous, you'll see them scratching with their fingers on the horse like that, and that's an indication that the person is nervous, and that will transfer into your horse. So just being relaxed and letting this horse, get comfortable, I think is a very important thing. I didn't used to put a lot of importance on leading the horse, but that's something that you're going to do every time you catch your horse. Every time you go anywhere with your horse, you're going to lead that horse. And so I'm going to just lead this horse right now, and my picture for this horse is to be right here beside me. I like to have my horse's eye just slightly in front of my shoulder. And why do I want my horse there? Because I can see the horse there, for one. The horse can see me, and we know where each other are. And I call that the sweet spot, and I want that horse to be comfortable standing right there. And when I leave, when I take off, I want him to come with me. He's probably going to just stand there, but I want him to come with me. Let's see how well he's paying attention. He came with me before the rope got tight. And notice as I'm traveling along here, he's just right beside me. And I turn right. This horse is politely moving away from me. When I stop, he's stopping. When I go, he's going. When I stop, he's stopping. So, big deal, huh? You know, it's kind of neat to watch in a horse that understands this, but how do you get that? You know, and I know everybody would like to have their horse right there, but it's probably more common to find that the horse is dragging, you know, and trying to lead you. When that is happening, I simply, let's say, for example, if this horse had just gotten ahead of me, and he's up there going on. So what I do is I let go of this rope, and I will turn and go back and move that hip out of the way. If I get back there and that hip is there, see, I'll just turn. This horse won't let me get back there because he knows that if he doesn't move, you know, I'm going to follow up at the end of my lead rope here. So this is a way for me to establish respect, because a horse that's trying to lead you is not respecting you. And that will get your horse to stop when you stop. So that's how I get him to stop. And now they will start being in anticipation of you turning, and they'll start moving the hip out and start facing up to you when you stop. When that happens, then I will move the front end around. And when I'm moving that front end around, I think of that horse's body being straight from the top of his head through his body all the way back to the hip. And I just create a wall of energy here and have him step away from it. The more energy that I bring up, the more he should step away from it. And then when I stop, he should stay right there. And again, he's right there in that sweet spot. So no matter where I go, this horse should find himself in that sweet spot. You can tell he's a little fresh, but he's staying right here beside me, and he's listening. So you might find these techniques just beneficial for you every time you catch your horse, when you lead him, to have him stay right here beside you, not ahead of you, not trying to face up to you, but right here beside you all the time. So I'm gonna do now what I call having a conversation with the horse. And think of it like this. Think of the people that you know that are the most interesting for you to talk to, the most interesting for you to listen to. And I bet you that these will be people that have the best command of the English language. They know how to use simple words in an order that makes sense. They know how to use the right emphasis on those words. They know how to keep your attention going right there. And they don't repeat the same word over and over and over again, usually. Now, when it comes to us working with our horse, somehow or another we've got it in our head that repetition is the king of all learning, and we sort of put our horses in a state of boredom because we keep repeating the same thing over and over again. So I'm going to have a conversation with this horse here, and this conversation is going to consist of me moving various body parts. It's going to consist of me sending this horse forward. It's going to consist of me moving front end and hind end at different times, but I'm only going to ask him to do one thing at a time. And when I see that this horse understands the one thing that I want him to do, then I'll ask him to do something different. So right now I'm going to send him forward. I'm going to ask him to go forward right there. He's obviously understanding that going forward is what I want. He's between the outside boundary and the inside boundary. Let me explain what I mean by outside and inside boundaries. This halter is serving as a sort of a pin for me. And when he takes the slack out of the lead rope and he feels the outside portion of this halter, he's up against the outside boundary. If his body is pushing inward towards me, he's pushing on the inside boundary. And I like to let him have complete freedom between those boundaries. So I'll send him forward again. He's closer to the outside boundary than he is the inside boundary, but he's looking where he's going, and his body alignment is telling me where his mind is and how well he's listening. If you notice that his body is slightly arced away from me, and as he's going around, he's paying more attention back here to me. A lot of times when I see horses being, quote, lunged, they'll be looking to the outside like he's doing now, and their body's falling to the inside. Well, that's just going to create something that you'll have to fix when you're riding them. So when I'm sending him around here, I'm thinking my picture is body alignment, posture. How's this horse carrying himself? Where is his attention? Where is he looking? Is he paying attention to me, or is he wanting to air off? He's a little bit fresh. I'm not going to let him jump and play. I'm going to stop. I'm going to change direction here and continue on with my conversation. I'm wanting this horse's attitude to come down. He's fresh, shouldered in. That turn wasn't all that great. He's wanting to just play. So I'm going to step on the gas here a little bit and send him on. By stepping on the gas, I've increased the energy to send him forward with. I'm going to take his hip away here. Now the reason I automatically send him after I took his hip is because this horse has quit playing and he's starting to listen. So I'm making the situation of listening to me the easy thing, and playing and jumping around here not listening to me the difficult thing. So the minute his attention came full on to me when I took his hip away, I'm letting him have a moment there to think about that. He's still doing more than I'm asking him to do, so he's telling me that I've got about maybe a fourth of his mind right now, and 3/4 of it is off, just doing what horses do. Yeah, see him look over there. He said, he caught me. So I'm going to let him sit there and think just a minute. I don't know if you can tell it in the film as we're going here, but as this horse starts engaging mentally, as this horse starts thinking physically, he's going to get more attractive. and I think it's exactly the same thing for people. When this horse dials into me and we're having a true conversation back and forth, I'm watching the expression on this horse, and I want this horse to be watching me, acknowledging whether or not he's hearing or whether he's not. So I'm going to go on here with him a little bit with this conversation. Now, I didn't tell him to face up there. I told him to stop, but I didn't tell him to face up, and he faced up. So I'm going to step into his front end and send it back out. If he moves his feet, and I haven't told him to move his feet, and I just stand there and watch it, I don't have any say in the matter. I've let the horse take over. And this is something that I learned early on, and I didn't realize I was learning it early on, but I grew up with cattle, And I can remember as a kid watching bulls fight, and they'll just push one another around, push around, push around, push around. And the bull that wins will stand there. And the bull that loses, well, he'll run through or over anything to get away from the one that just won. Now he might come back and challenge this one that won, and when he does, his feet are moving towards the bull that won, and chances are that bull in the middle will just raise up and the other one will back off. So this horse moving his feet when I haven't told him to move his feet is him challenging me to take over as the leader. So if I don't do something about it by acknowledging, look, I saw you move your feet, go back over here, this is what I want. It's as simple as that. I'm just aware of the fact that he did it and that I do something about it. So I'm going to send him on here again. I've shortened up the lead rope here a little bit to get a little more efficiency out of my time, that's all. That time he stopped and listened. I'm going to back up, bring his front end through, just go on this way. Now he's just doing what I'm asking him to do. He's not doing more. I ask him to stop. He's trying to face up. I didn't ask him to face up, so I'm just aware of it. I'm going to send him on. He's standing out here just kind of looking off. He's got a little more anxiety in his body than I need for him to have to be fully listening to me, this is normal horse behavior when they're in a strange environment, especially a young stallion. They're always looking around to see where there might be, other horses and just checking the territory out. So I'm gonna put this horse to work in this conversation. And what I'm looking for is a change in his attitude. I'm looking for a change in how he's carrying himself. I'm looking for a change in how he's listening to me. And I'm going to just go on with the conversation. He's going forward now. I've decided I'm going to take his hip away. I've decided I'm going to bring his front end back between me and his hip. I'm going to take his front end all the way around. I'm going to toss this lead rope over his head and have him turn away from me and come back through. There's the playfulness again, so he's not listening. Send him back around. He wants to play that hard. Just put him to work. Now I'll ease off and give him an opportunity here to listen to me again. Let's take his hind end away on this side. Let's bring his front end back through this way. Let's take his front end all the way around. Let's have the whole horse go away, laterally away. Move your hip up there and catch up. Now, you might think, why am I doing this? What could possibly come from this? You will see a change in this horse's demeanor. You'll see a change in his eye. You'll see a change in how he listens to me as I have this conversation. When I ask him to do something, that to me is asking him to a word in horse language. If he's telling me by the way he's doing it that he either doesn't understand it or he's not in agreement on it, I'm not going to change until I see the agreement take place. Once I see the agreement take place, then I'll change to something else. And that's the change that I'm talking about that creates the opportunity for the human to become interesting to the horse. So, why am I doing this? I'm doing this to get this horse's attitude in a pliable, state of attentiveness so that this horse will give me his feet in the palm of my hand here, so to speak, through this lead rope. I'll be able to get him to do what I want him to do with his feet at any time. And the real importance here for me is that groundwork done like this is not just groundwork. This is setting the stage so that we can carry what I'm doing on the ground here over to his back. So I'm not just doing things here on the ground that aren't meaningful when I get on his back. So I'm going to send him on, and we're going to continue on with this conversation. You're getting to see in real time here how to deal with freshness, how to deal with a horse that is in a playful mood and not ready to listen, and how they settle down. And notice I'm not wearing him out physically, but I'm changing enough mentally that this horse is having to think. And I know this is going back to a college, so I know each student that's watching this has got up from a test and thought, wow, I'm exhausted. You see, when you have to put that much thought into what you're doing, it has a tremendous effect on you internally. And that's always part of my clear mental picture is how's this horse feeling on the inside? What is he feeling like? Is he comfortable? Is he upset? Is he attentive to me? How is he feeling? So that's why I'm doing this thing that I call the dance. I'm going to send him on forward. Stop. Just have him move his front end away to the right. Just have him stand back. Just have him stop. Just have the to me. Just have him stop. Just have the whole horse go away. Away. Just move just the hind end all the way around. Just bring the front end between me and his hip. All the way around. Just move the front end around this way. Now just have a complete change of eye. Back through. Stop. Okay. So, in a pretty short period of time here, we took a horse that was not interested in listening. He just wanted to be loose and play, to one of being attentive, responsive, respectful, a horse that's in my picture. And to me, that this if we're going to ride our horses, and that's the only reason to have one, I think, is to ride one. I want them to be like this when I'm on their back. Otherwise, I'm at risk of them taking over and wanting to do their thing, and it might not be, the best thing for me. So, anyway, that was what I call a conversation, and I hope you enjoyed that.